Good day, everyone, and welcome for today's presentation. Today, our group will tackle and discuss the birth controls and sexually transmitted diseases. So, without further ado, let's begin this presentation. Now, for the objectives of this presentation, we will describe various birth control methods and emphasize their effectiveness. Then, list general symptoms of sexually transmitted diseases or STDs. What is birth control? Birth control, also known as contraception, is the use of any medicine, device, or method to prevent pregnancy. And there are various types of birth controls. The most common ones are pills. These are medication you take by mouth. They contain hormones to prevent ovulation. Next we have is the intrauterine devices. These are small devices that are placed inside the uterus by a healthcare provider. They can be hormonal or non-hormonal and can prevent pregnancy for several years. Next we have is the vasectomy. This is a surgical procedure for men that permanently prevents the release of sperm. But take note that even though you undergo vasectomy, you can still produce semen, but it doesn't contain any sperm anymore. Semen and sperm are not the same, but they are related. Semen is the entire fluid ejaculated, or another term, it is the white fluid that comes out from the penis, while sperm are the microscopic reproductive cells within the semen. Next we have is the most common contraceptive, the condoms. These are worn during sexual intercourse to prevent sperm from reaching the egg, and they are also the only form of birth control that significantly protects against sexually transmitted infections. Importance of birth control. First and foremost, birth control empowers individuals to make informed decisions about their own bodies and their reproductive health. It allows people to choose when and if they want to become pregnant. It also reduces unintended pregnancies and improving maternal and infant health. By allowing individuals to plan their pregnancies, birth control can lead to healthier outcome for both mothers and infant. And that's why contraception are very important. Next is we have the overview of methods of birth controls. These are the four common methods of birth control. First we have is the barrier method. Next is the hormonal method. Then the surgical method. And lastly, the natural method. Barrier methods are types of birth control that prevents pregnancy by creating a physical or chemical barrier that blocks sperm from reaching the egg. Now, these are the types of barrier methods. First, we have the condoms, and I know that you are aware what a condom are. So let's proceed to the diaphragms and cervical caps. These are small dome-shaped devices inserted into the vagina to cover the cervix. It is a flexible cap made of silicone or latex that is inserted into the vagina to cover the cervix. It acts as a physical barrier, blocking sperm from entering the uterus, and when used, it must be accompanied with spermicides. Next, we have the contraceptive sponges. These are small disposable sponges containing spermicide that are inserted into the vagina to cover the cervix. Again, it acts as a physical barrier, absorbs semen, and releases spermicides to kill sperm. Then lastly, we have the spermicides. These are creams foams, gels, or suppositories containing chemicals that kill sperm. They are inserted into the vagina before intercourse to inactivate or kill sperm. They are much more effective when used in combination with other barrier methods, as I mentioned. Next is we have the hormonal methods. It utilizes synthetic hormones like progestin and estrogen to prevent pregnancy by either stopping ovulation, thickening cervical mucus, or thinning the uterine lining. Using this birth control is a highly effective pregnancy prevention, and it offers several other benefits, such as it regulates menstrual cycle by making periods lighter, shorter, and more predictable. It can also reduce or eliminate menstrual cramps and pain, but it also has a downside. This method can cause various side effects such as headaches, nausea, breast pain, decrease in libido in some individuals. Under the hormonal methods, we have the pills, injection birth control, vaginal rings, intrauterine with progestin. Now let's proceed to the surgical methods of birth control. Surgery to permanently prevent pregnancy. And there are male and female sterilization methods. For the male ones, it is the vasectomy. It involves cutting and sealing the vas deferens. It is the tube that carries sperm from the testicles. This essentially blocks the sperm from leaving the body, making a man infertile. Then, how about the females? For females, their sterilization is tubal ligation. It is a procedure to block your fallopian tubes. And during this procedure, the fallopian tubes are either cut, sealed off with clips or rings, or even removed from the uterus. This prevents sperm from reaching the eggs, effectively stopping fertilization and pregnancy. The tubal ligation has two methods. First is the laparoscopy. A thin lighted tube with a camera is inserted through a small incision to visualize and manipulate the fallopian tubes. The other one is the mini laparotomy. A small incision is made in the abdomen, allowing the surgeon to access and work on the fallopian tubes. Next we have is the natural methods. Fertility awareness uses natural methods to prevent pregnancy. This is also called natural family planning. So under the natural method, we have the rhythm method, which is the method involves tracking the menstrual cycle and avoiding unprotected sex during the fertile window, which is typically around ovulation. Then we also have the cervical mucus method. This method involves monitoring changes in cervical mucus throughout the cycle to identify when ovulation is approaching. Then lastly, we have the basal body temperature or BBT method. This method involves taking your temperature every morning before getting out of bed to detect a temperature rise that indicates ovulation. Now that we're done introducing and discussing the different kinds of birth control methods, let's try to compare each of them to know which are much better, effective, and efficient. First, we have the barrier methods. Condoms are the best method to prevent STIs, but they are less effective at preventing pregnancy than other methods. When used correctly, condoms have an effectiveness rate of 87 to 88%, while diaphragms are around 83 to 88% effectively, and cervical caps are around at 78%, while the hormonal method includes pills, injections, implants, and patches when used correctly. Many hormonal methods have very high effectiveness rate, often exceeding 99%. The next comparison is the surgical methods and natural method. Surgical methods, these methods are considered the most effective and often permanent. The tubal ligation for females and vasectomy for males. Tubal ligation has a failure rate of less than 1%, and vasectomy has a failure rate of 0.15%, while the natural methods can be effective if used correctly and consistently. Remember, the keyword is correctly and consistently. Fertility awareness methods have an effectiveness rate of 91 to 99% when used perfectly, but in typical use, they are 76% effective comparison of birth controls. We are done comparing each of these birth control methods. Now let's talk about the side effects of using these types of birth controls. First, we have the barrier methods. For females, the most common side effects of using these birth control methods are first the latex allergy, second is the insertion and removal, and lastly the vaginal irritation. Those are the common side effects for female. Now for the male ones, it is the latex allergy, reduced sensitivity, and oil-based lubricants. Next, we have the diaphragms and cervical caps. The side effects of using these birth control methods are first, we have the urinary tract infections or UTI, vaginal irritation, discomfort, and odor. Next, the allergic reaction and cervical trauma. Contraceptive sponges. The side effects of using contraceptive sponges are vaginal irritation and burning. Next is the allergic reaction, urinary tract infections, and vaginal dryness or irritation. Now let's proceed to the spermicides and the side effects of using these contraceptives. And first we have the irritation and burning. Next is the allergic reactions. And lastly, increased risk of STIs. Now let's jump into the hormonal methods. The side effects of using pills are nausea, headaches, breast pain or tenderness, irregular bleeding, and mood change. For the injection birth control, the side effects are weight gain, headaches, mood change, pain, lump, or scar at the injection site. The side effects of using vaginal rings are the following: menstrual changes, mood and emotional changes, physical symptoms, irregular bleeding, and the side effects of using intrauterine devices with progestin are irregular bleeding or spotting, changes in menstrual flow, PMS-like symptoms, and pelvic pain. Now for the surgical methods, the side effects of using tubal ligation are pain and discomfort, abdominal pain and cramping, fatigue and dizziness, and vaginal bleeding. For the laparoscopy, You have pain, shoulder pain, nausea and vomiting, gas and bloating, and constipation.
Next is mini laparotomy is a surgical procedure involving a small abdominal incision typically used for tubal ligation or for other gynecologic procedure. The rhythm method teaches you to recognize when you ovulate. This allows you to determine your fertile days or the days you're most likely to get pregnant. You avoid having sex on the days you're fertile. You use a calendar chart and predict ovulation. It involves tracking and recording your cycle for several months until you are able to predict your menstruational cycle. It's one of the least effective forms of birth control. Even when it's done correctly, it's only affected about 75% to 88%. Next is cervical mucus method. Birth control involves analyzing your vaginal discharge to identify when you're most fertile. You avoid sexual intercourse during your fertile time. You can check your cervical mucus using your finger or by looking into your underwear. Fertile cervical mucus is slippery, clear, and has the texture of egg whites. Thick, pasty discharge means you are not fertile. Learning the stages your cervical mucus goes through each menstrual cycle which helps you predict ovulation. The cervical mucus method can be up to 88% effective. In most cases, it's about 75% effective. The basal body temperature. Taking basal body temperature is a way to identify ovulation. You must have a thermometer that measures temperatures to at least 1/10 of the degree for it to work. Record your temperature every morning before getting out of the bed. Basal body temperature typically arises less than 1/2 of a degree after you ovulate. Once your temperature increases, you are safe to have unprotected sex for up to 3 days. It may take a few cycles to determine when this rise occurs each month. What are STDs? STDs are infections that are spread from one person to another, usually during vaginal, anal, and oral sex. These are four major STDs: chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV or AIDS, and HVP. Chlamydia is one of the most common sexual transmitted infection. You can get chlamydia from intercourse, anal sex, or oral sex. If not treated, chlamydia can cause serious problems, including infertility and ectopic pregnancy. In pregnant women, it can cause the baby to be born early or what we call premature. Here are the symptoms that you have chlamydia. First is discharge from the vagina, penis, or anus. Second, pain in the lower belly. Third, fever. Lastly is pain when peeing. So how can you transmit or receive chlamydia? Once a person has chlamydia, they can spread it to their partners through sexual intercourse, anal sex, or oral sex. Infection can also occur when a person with chlamydia shares sex toys with their partners. So how can you prevent chlamydia? The only way to prevent chlamydia and other STDs is not to have sex, oral, vagina, or anal. If someone decides to have sex, they can lower their risk of getting an STD by using a latex condom every time they have sex, Second, getting tested with any new partners before having sex. The second major STDs is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a common sexually transmitted infection caused by a type of bacteria. It usually spreads through vaginal, oral, or anal sex. Gonorrhea is treatable and curable with antibiotics. So here are the symptoms that you have gonorrhea in men. First is painful urination. Second is pus-like discharge from the penis, yellow, white, or green. Lastly is swelling or pain in the testicle. In women naman is increased vaginal discharge, painful urination like sa men, vaginal bleeding between periods. Lastly is pelvic or abdominal pain. So there are symptoms naman nga pwede ma-feel both men and women. So muna sila ang discharge, anal itching, soreness, bleeding, and painful bowel movements. Also, makaano masasang throat infection. Often no symptoms but may cause sore throat. So, paano bala kita makatransmit or makareceive sang gonorrhea? Gonorrhea is spread through sexual contact with an infected person including vaginal, anal, or oral sex. It can also be transmitted from mother to baby during childbirth. So, kung ang mother ya is may gonorrhea na samtang ginabusong sa, may possible nga makuha ya ang muna nga sakit. Kita makaprevent to have gonorrhea. First is use condoms consistently and correctly during sex. So, tsaktuhon tagid ang paggamit sang kondom para hindi ta malatnan sang gonorrhea. Get tested regularly if you're sexually active, especially with new or multiple partners. So maybe mapatest ka every week or twice a week para ma-know mo na wala ka sang muna nga sakit. Third is mutual monogamy with a tested and infected partner. Fourth is avoid sex with someone who has symptoms or is being treated. If know mo naman nga ang partner mo is may muna nga sakit, ma-avoid ka mo sang having intercourse kay malat na niya ka na. Or may partner ka naman nga ginabulong ang muna nga sakit, simpre ma-avoid ka sa iya. Lastly is prompt treatment or infected individuals and their partners. Third is HIV or AIDS. Ang muning major STD is familiar naman sa aton because may makita naman ta na sa mga Google, poster or newspaper na naghahatag information about that disease. Ano bala ang HIV? Human immunodeficiency virus is an infection that attacks the body's immune system, while ang acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is the most advanced stage of the disease. HIV targets the body white blood cells, weakening the immune system. This makes it easier to get sick with diseases like tuberculosis, infection, and some other cancers. Are the symptoms in early stage acute HIV infection 2 to 4 weeks after exposure? Flu-like symptoms, fever, chills, rash, sore throat, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, muscle aches. Some people have no symptoms at all. Maybe wala pa sa symptoms if 2 to 4 weeks pa lang sila exposed sa muna nga disease. HIV or the latent stage may last years with no symptoms. Second, virus is still active and slowly damage the immune system. Lastly is ang AIDS, amon naman ni ang advanced stage. Ang mga symptoms siya: rapid weight loss, gadasig ka magniwang, frequent fever or profuse night sweat, extreme fatigue, dasig ka mapagod, prolonged swelling of lymph glands, diarrhea lasting more than a week, sores in the mouth, anus, or genitals, pneumonia or unusual infection. Lastly is ang memory loss or neurological disorder. So if advanced na ang imo HIV kag nag-AIDS na sa, maybe feel ka sang memory. HIV is transmitted through contact with specific body fluids of an infected person. Blood, semen, vaginal fluids, rectal fluids, breast milk. So, amo naman ni saya ang modes of transmission: unprotected vaginal or anal sex, sharing needles or syringe from mother to child during pregnancy, birth, or breastfeeding. So, hindi gali pwede nga ang mother nga may HIV is makapa-breastfeed sang iya nga bata kay malatnan niya na. Lastly is less commonly through oral sex or transfusion, very rare in countries with blood screening. So, paano bala kita makaprevent to having AIDS or HIV? Use condom during sex, get tested regularly, and knows your partner's HIV. So, like sa gonorrhea, need mo manggali test regularly, and also your partner to knows ang iyang HIV status if may ara sa bala HIV or wala, for safety purposes. Third is pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP, daily medication that significantly reduce risk. Fourth is post-exposure prophylaxis or PEP, emergency medication taken within 24 hours after possible exposure. So, ang EP is iginatake nasa nga emergency medication if sa tingin mo na na-expose ka sa muna nga sakit. Fifth is don't share needles or drug injection equipment. Even though you know nga wala sa muna nga sakit nga HIV or AIDS, maging careful man ta gyapon kag hindi kita mag-share sa mga needles or injection nga nagamit na, or hindi man ta magamit sa mga injection nga nagamit na sa iban nga tawo para hindi ta malatnan sang sakit. Pregnant individuals with HIV should receive treatment to reduce the risk of passing it to the baby. Is the human papillomavirus or HPV. Is commonly sexually transmitted infection. Almost all sexual active people will be infected at some point of their lives, usually without symptoms. HPV can affect the skin, genital area, and throat. Also, condoms help prevent HPV, but wala ni sa gina totally offer kay wala gina protect, wala, hindi bala sa sure nga ma-protect ka sa muni nga disease because they do not cover all the genital skins. So, pwede ka mangyapon ma-infect sa muni nga disease even though nagamit ka mo sang condom. Symptoms that a person have HPV. Most people with HPV do not develop symptoms and the infection often goes away on its own. However, when symptoms do occur, they depend on the type of HPV. First is the low-risk HPV types: genital warts, small bumps on the genitals, anus, or surrounding skin, Second is warts may be flat, raised, single, or clustered. Second is the high-risk HPV types. No immediate symptoms can lead to cervical cancer or other cancers, vulva, vagina, penis, anus, throat, and tonsils. Note, these cancers often develop years or even decades after infection. Next is how HPV can be transmitted. Skin-to-skin contact during vaginal, anal, or oral sex. Second is genital contact without intercourse. Third, from mother to baby during childbirth. HPV can be spread even when an infected person shows no signs of symptoms. So how can we prevent HPV? HPV vaccination, highly effective against the most dangerous types. Second is recommended for preteens ages 9 to 12, but can be given up to age 45. Second is the use of condoms. Reduce but does not eliminate risk. HPV can infect areas not covered by a condom. Third is regular screening. Pap smear, and HPV test for early detection of cervical changes. Limiting sexual partners and mutual monogamy can also reduce risk. Syphilis is an infection caused by bacteria. Most often, it spreads through sexual contact. The disease starts as a sore that's often painless and typically appears on the genitals, rectum, or mouth. Syphilis spreads from person to person through direct contact with this source. It can also be passed to a baby during pregnancy, childbirth, and sometimes through breastfeeding. So here are the symptoms of syphilis. First is the primary stage. A single painless sore, usually on the genital, anus, or mouth. Second, appears about 3 weeks after exposure. Third, heals on its own in 3 to 6 weeks. Second is the secondary stage. Skin rashes, mucous membrane lesion, fever, swollen lymph nodes, sore throat, fatigue, dasi ka makakapoy, patchy hair loss, and muscle aches. Third is the latent stage. No symptoms, can last for years, infection still present. Fourth is the tertiary stage or late stage. Severe complication in brain, heart, blood vessels, eyes, liver, bones, joints, and can be fatal. Syphilis can be transmitted. Syphilis spreads through direct contact with a syphilis sore during vaginal, anal, or oral sex, from mother to baby during pregnancy or birth, just like I mentioned, not spread through casual contact, toilet seats, sharing utensils, and etc. Can we prevent syphilis? Use condoms correctly and consistently during sex. Avoid sexual contact with someone who has an active sore. Third, routine STI testing for sexual active individuals. Fourth, monogamous relationship with a tested and effective partner. Fifth is early treatment prevents transmission and complication. Are the information on how can STD can be transmitted and prevent transmission, unprotected vaginal, anal, or oral sex. Second, skin-to-skin contact with infected areas. Third, sharing needles, HIV, or hepatitis. Fourth is blood transfusion. Lastly is mother to baby during childbirth or breastfeeding. On the prevention naman is abstinence. Most effective way to avoid STDs, use condoms. Latex or polyurethane condoms reduce risk of many STDs. Get vaccinated. Vaccines are available for HPV and hepatitis B. Fourth is regular testing, especially important if sexually active with multiple partners. So needed gid magpa-regular testing if active ka sa sexually. Then limit number of partners, reduce risk of exposure. So we have to limit kung hindi ta magpasobra gid sang number of partners. Kung isa lang dapat para ma-reduce ta sang risk to expose sa mga muni nga mga sakit. And then avoid sharing needles. Sharing needles prevent blood-borne infection. Lastly is mutual monogamy with a tested and unaffected partner. In conclusion, understanding and using birth control methods responsibly, along with practicing safe sex, are essential steps in preventing unintended pregnancy and protecting against sexually transmitted infection. Educating ourselves and others empowers us to make informed, healthy choices for our bodies and relationship. Thank you so much for listening to our report. Bye!